You're watching the Isiah Factor, uncensored.
We already know the weekend is getting closer and those Uber and Lyft drivers will be busy. Tonight, we're talking your safety, specifically when it comes to ride-sharing services. This man, for instance, Christian Burke's dirty bastard, sentenced to at least 41 years in prison for raping and kidnapping 5 women in Ohio. He posed as an Uber driver outside a bar and handpicked all of his victims, all of which were women in their early 20s. Tonight, a sobering reminder of the importance of being careful whatever the occasion may be and knowing your surroundings. Take a look.
You hit it right on the head. You said put their lives and their safety in jeopardy by getting to a cab or getting to a rideshare vehicle with someone they believe to be their driver without properly checking for the identity of the person driving the vehicle to make sure that this is the person that is supposed to be driving the car. You know, the rideshare companies have implemented a safety portion in their apps that gives you the driver information and vehicle information, so it's easy enough for you to check that information before entering the vehicle. But this, at least in some of these incidents, it was a failure on these individuals to maintain situational awareness, which resulted in these horrible attacks.
And that's what happens when a lot of people, they choose to use Uber when they've been out on a night of drinking. And so you're just not paying attention. Your situational awareness is not at its peak at that time. And so for women and men who both, may be caught in that situation, what advice would you give them?
Well, I'd give them several safety tips to help them at least try to maintain their safety when using rideshare. First of all, as you said before, some of these individuals have been out drinking and they don't have the full use of their faculties. But it is imperative that before you get in a rideshare vehicle, or even call one, that you at least have someone with you who is, can be a designated passenger who is not quite as intoxicated as you are, and avoid riding alone. You don't want to ride alone, especially if you have been out drinking. Okay, you want to maintain situational awareness at all times. You want to identify the driver and share your ride info with anyone you can. And before you get into the vehicle, you open that back door, look to see if the child safety lock is engaged. If it is, you either disengage it or don't get in the vehicle, because if the child safety lock is engaged and you get in that back seat, you will not be able to open the door from the inside. Okay.
And so would it be fine telling the driver, look, unlock this child safety lock before I get back here? And if it's not a problem, they shouldn't have an issue with it, right?
Exactly. They should. And then you should not be afraid to ask the driver anything when it pertains to your safety. So if the driver balks at any of it, that you need to get another driver.
Now, what we have seen in the past, back to the drinking and using Uber, we'll see friends who think they've done the best thing possible after a friend has had so much to drink, they'll put that friend in an Uber and send them home. But sometimes you have to do more.
You definitely have to do more. You can't leave a person's personal safety to them if they're intoxicated. Because at least in some of these instances, and I'm not just talking about the two related to this case, but I'm talking about cases that have taken place across the nation where some of these women were victimized because they were completely intoxicated and they were unable to defend themselves. Mm-hmm. But this doesn't, this does not just happen to women who have been out drinking or partying. This can happen to anyone at any time. And there are additional steps that you can implement to make sure that you're safe, whether you're intoxicated or not. And one of them, and this is something we've been working on at TLAC and we're about to roll out on Monday, is you need to call someone, preferably a male, and check them. Well, let them share your information with them, obviously, but also let the driver know that there is someone waiting for you. And there's someone that is expecting you to arrive. We're implementing a download of was basically a phone call simulator called Check Call, that you can actually stage a simulated phone call, a short, brief call, in the vehicle with the rideshare driver, so he can overhear, or he or she can overhear that simulated call to give them the false impression that someone is waiting on you or expecting you in a very short time. Now, you should use this type of protocol when you have some suspicions about the driver that have not escalated to the level that you need to call 911. You just want to keep them in check. That's why we call it call check, check call. Keep them in check and establish that barrier of safety or that barrier of apprehension on the driver's part if he or she was thinking about attempting some type of criminal act. If anybody's interested in checking out the app, checking out the download, they can find it on TLACnow.com.